Man. So the WBC, or commonly known as We Be Crooks, defended
Oh, we
their
be crooks. Yay!
defended their dumb decision. In an article published by the boxing scene, the WBC president defends his willingness to rank Jake Paul as he says he deserves respect. Put some respect on that man's name.
Oh.
All right, so Mauricio Suleiman, who is the president of the WBC, said the reality is that social media is a phenomenon and Jake Paul deserves respect. So he
I,
defends his position. He said Jake Paul gets into the ring with responsibilities and with adequate training, but he gets discredited right away. Paul is a phenomenon, and we will see what happens in the future. This is how the process works. Suleiman said boxer fights, and with the results, they can be classified in a weight class. And that is what Jake Paul is doing. But everyone is entitled to his own opinion. Everyone has own motives to have an opinion. I respect the information or feelings that motivate how they think about Jake Paul. So, Isaiah, it just seems like you just need 2,000 views on a YouTube on a YouTube video
well,
to be a
okay.
considered a phenomenon now.
I mean, okay. I'll give Jake. Uh, how do I have to word this correctly?
Oh God.
So because
Mm.
Jake has a large following,
Oh no.
and he has a large follow. No, hear me out. He has a large following, and he's been in fights that's made, you know, considerable amount of money considering like the matchups,
What?
which as no. Like hear me out. Like money wise, like who doesn't want to see like Ben Askren versus Jake Paul? Who doesn't want to see Jake
Well,
Paul
but according to the
versus
numbers, it flopped in pay-per-view buys.
it flopped the pay-per-view buys?
Yeah,
For wait, Jake Paul was no the Ben Askren one was on
was on a Thriller, but like
Thriller,
the
right?
Tyron Woodley fights.
Tyron Woodley fights for flopped, or the Ben Askren one flopped? Which one
I
flopped?
think according to everyone, all three flopped.
Mm.
Let me just double check this, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check that
So
just to make sure.
continue on, Isaiah.
Anyway, but the point I'm trying to make is that like there's not a lot of fighters that are doing that have the ability or the following to do those kind of things. So it's really easy for Jake Paul to like make these kind of larger scale fights without going through the rankings and still making like a considerable amount of money doing so. I'll give him that. So he can promote himself. This is from like a promoter kind of thinking. He's a marketable. You can market him in a way. Maybe not in a good way, maybe in a notorious way, sure. But you can market Jake Paul. But in terms of like ranking him, he hasn't fought anyone that can be deserving of, or in my opinion, of deserving of a ranking within the WC for the WC belt. So even though he can market himself, the skill I've yet to see the skill shown to receive such a ranking, if that makes sense. I don't agree with that part. I I would say his marketability is respectable, but other than that, no. He ran away from freaking Ramdan
Rockman, Ramda,
Rockman. How do you pronounce it?
Rockman.
Rockman. Okay, so he kind of ran away from that, even though the weight,
Okay, so
yeah, the weight thing never happened. But again, that's my point to make. I don't think I don't think that's a respectable thing for the ranking itself.
So in both the Woodley 1 and Woodley 2 fights, for Woodley 2, he got fewer than 65K pay-per-view buys. And
Oh,
then for Woodley 1, this is brought to you by the New York Post. He got around 65,000 pay-per-view buys on that one.
mm,
Yeah, so
okay. Would that be considered a flop?
um some would consider it a flop considering some
It depends.
people
It depends on it depends on how much they put into it. If,
so
I'm not sure how much 65,000 pay-per-view buys would be.
so if we calculate that, um a pay-per-view would be around like $60. So that's
Okay.
around 3.89 million if my math is correct in my
Uh
head.
huh.
So 3.89 million isn't a bad number, but in the broad scheme of things, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., who were way out of their primes, did an exhibition fight, and people paid for that fight, and they had 1.2 million pay-per-view
Mm.
buys for those two guys. In addition to that, if you consider the KSI versus
Oh,
Logan Paul fight, that did way bigger than than Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley 1 and 2.
interesting.
Um, and yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate, but yes.
I'm just saying, like, even though if even if that was to be considered like a flop, the amount of press that those fights got, or like even like the Ben Askren fight,
Yeah.
was marketable enough to be respectable in my opinion. So you can market himself. It's just I don't think the WBC should be just fucking giving out like, oh, my Spanish, but like he shouldn't be. They shouldn't be giving out
My
like
Spanish.
they shouldn't be giving out belts on ranking like that.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think
what's the point of the belt if like, oh, like this dude is champion because he made more pay-per-view buys than this guy, but this guy is just tactically better.
yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
I don't think that's right. And
Exactly.
I'll be honest right here. From my point of view, uh this is really dumb that you're trying to defend this. Mr. Suleiman, who's a president of WBC. Bro, just be like,
Hmm.
we're just in it for the money, bro.
Oh my god.
I'm dead ass, bro. This is like reeking of corruption, bro.
Exactly.
There's no one in their right mind who has whatever freaking following in the world should deserve a ranking in a legitimate
Yeah.
boxing
Just
organization just
because
because yeah.
you're freaking Justin Bieber, bro. You get like a
Yeah,
you get a
like
ranking in the WBC.
just imagine like one of the most famous TikTokers, what's her name? Charlie D'Amelio or something wants to fight. You gonna rank her because she has like millions of followers and a billions of views on TikTok just because she garners so much press? Dog, no, it doesn't work that way. When you're in boxing, the people who put in the work see this. They think they're being robbed of ranking. That's so dumb, bro. If I was a boxer under the WBC and he said that Jake Paul deserves a ranking because he's a phenomena, I'll be like humana.
Um,
Phenomena. I'm like, go fuck yourself, bro.
oh, it's giving me like a brain aneurysm just like from that statement, yeah.
I'll leave.
You even know what now?
I'd leave. I'd leave. I'll be like, all right, I'm moving to a different organization that
Yeah, I
will
would
actually
too. I mean,
respect my freaking skill.
like, can you imagine like spending your whole life, like you're 16, you started boxing from when you were 13, you went through amateurs, you went to the Olympic,
Yeah.
whatnot,
And
and then
then
all
you
of a
have
sudden,
so many
nah.
rounds of sparring, back-breaking work, and all that, and all of a sudden, this kid from YouTube Disney just takes over and becomes ranked above you. You're like, what the?
What the fuck? Hell yeah, nah.
No,
So
stupidity, man.
That's really dumb.
Don't do that. Thank you guys for listening to the M&I's podcast. If you enjoyed our content or have anything to say about the things we talked about, please like, comment, and subscribe.
For sure. We're improving every day, and we always strive to bring you the absolute best. See you guys.